Did you know that clearing out your closet and getting rid of stuff that you don't wear can have amazing benefits for our mental health, our self-esteem, and our mood? Hello everyone, it's your friend Deirdre and a big warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing really well. In today's video, I'm sharing 8 different types of clothes and stuff that we don't wear that we could clear straight out of our wardrobes right now, well, after you've seen this video anyway, and give yourself a big pick-me-up. Following my tips will give you that amazing feeling, you know, that sense of liberation that comes from a cleansed wardrobe where you can actually see what there is in it. And it's not full of stuff that you don't wear. How good would that be? And it's not difficult, and I've got a plan for you and where to start as well. Now, my number 8 is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, actually. So see what you think of that later on in the video. So let me get started straight away, without ado, with my first thing that you could consider getting rid of or donating. Number 1, which is clothes that still have their tags on. I really think that a good place to start with a cleanse of your wardrobe is with clothes or items that still have their tags on them from when you bought them. You know, it's really exciting when you buy something, isn't it? So, you know, if you haven't worn it so far, especially when you were all excited and you just bought it, and it's still languishing, looking all hopeful in your wardrobe months later, you're probably not going to wear it now. However, if it was bought for a special event, of course, that's different, you know, if the event hasn't happened yet. But otherwise, you might want to consider donating it or selling it or just giving it away to a friend who might give it a much bigger welcome in her wardrobe. My next thing that I really think we shouldn't have in our wardrobes at all, really, are clothes that are ill-fitting. You know, if you find yourself fiddling with something you're wearing or when you're wearing it, or constantly adjusting it or pulling it up or pulling it down or pulling it sideways, the chances are that it probably doesn't fit you very well. Now, I'm not talking about something that is definitely too big or too small. I'm talking here about a piece that just, you know, doesn't sit right, you know, maybe on the shoulders, maybe the straps keep falling down, or the hips or the sleeves are just a bit annoying, you know. Now, I'm a big fan of loving what you wear and feeling confident and happy in what you wear. So if you're having to fiddle around with something and, you know, adjust it here and there all day, for me, that's not going to be an item that I'm totally ecstatic to wear, or I will be reaching for, or that I will be comfortable in either. So just get rid of it. Before moving on to my tip to cleanse your wardrobe and make you feel cleansed too, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button, as it helps the channel and it's totally free. We have a great community of really fabulous ladies all chatting together and sharing tips. And also please do hit that like button if you like my video, because that shows me what you like and I can make more of them for you. Okay, my number 3 tip is things that don't go with anything else. I know what it's like. You know, you go into a shop or you see something online that you totally fall in love with and you get all excited for the sales too, because that's the time that this can really happen. And you just can't resist buying this special item. Maybe it's a fabulous dress, or maybe it's a really elevated top that's going to really zhuzh you up. That is to die for. Or some to die for pleated trousers, whatever it is. Maybe it's a gorgeous new colour that you really want to try. And it's so exciting, isn't it? And you can just imagine how wonderful you're going to look in it. And you come up with all sorts of kind of pretend scenarios where you really have to have this piece to wear. But then it arrives, or you get it home and you suddenly think, yes, but what on earth am I going to wear with it? And honestly, when am I going to wear it? So what happens? You know, it sits in the wardrobe alongside those poor little things with their tags that are still on, and it gets all lonely and unwanted. So what I would suggest is that before you buy anything, try to visualize what else it will go with that you already have in your wardrobe. I think if you have perhaps whatever suits you, of course, but in your mind, a kind of a ballpark figure where like it has to be able to make at least 4 new outfits, maybe more than that, from pieces in your wardrobe, so that you can also maximize what you already have and that this piece will slot seamlessly in a useful way. Because otherwise, if you've got something that doesn't go with anything at all and you don't want to invest in buying more things that it might go with, get rid of it. Okay, my fourth thing that you could consider getting rid of is number 4, uncomfortable shoes. Honestly, this is probably the thing that really needs to go more than anything else. I mean, if a pair of shoes or footwear are uncomfortable or hurt your feet, obviously think about wearing them in first, especially if they're new, as this can really help, and especially if they're leather or a flexible kind of fabric, canvas, something like that. Or you could try wearing thicker socks with them if they rub, or add insoles for extra cushioning if they're really hard on the soles. You can even try applying shoe stretch spray, which helps to expand them just a little bit. But if you've done all that walking them in thing and getting used to them thing, and they're still uncomfortable and you really can't see yourself getting further than the front door in them happily, they'll never be comfy, will they? I'll never make you feel good in them. So please consider giving them to a new home. Maybe if you take them to a charity shop, someone else may fit them a lot better and really benefit from them. My next one is a real biggie. Please consider getting rid of number 5, clothes that you might wear someday. I think we probably all have something, and maybe more than one thing, where we think, do you know what? I love this so much, and maybe I'll fit into it someday. So you find it still in your wardrobe the next year and the next. I know that's happened to me. It's not just about whether you can fit into it weight-wise either. It's sometimes to do with lifestyle, isn't it? Especially if you've had clothes for a corporate life, maybe smart clothes for your past working life, and accessories that you've worn to work. I'm looking at you, high heels and grey blazers. Maybe you quite like to hold on to these things, and maybe they remind you of your previous life, or often we think that we might just find a use for them in the future. In the meantime, I think they can look a little bit lost and sad in our wardrobes, along with the clothes with tags on and those items that don't go with anything else, because by now your wardrobe's getting pretty full of these sorts of things, rather than things that you actually wear. It's when you look at clothes that you might wear sometime, one of two emotions tend to spring up. And please tell me if you've had this experience as well. One of them might be, they can make you feel a bit depressed, and you might sigh and think, oh, those were the days. In which case, get rid of them, because they're not doing you any favours mentally. Or secondly, what might happen is that you think, yes, I will fit into this. Just one more month of walking every day, or whatever you might be doing to look and feel better. And then it can be motivational, which is brilliant, of course. Then hang on to them. But only if they make you feel good. Otherwise, get rid of them. A thing that you may consider getting rid of, because things are getting a little bit packed in this wardrobe we're talking about, are number 6, unwanted gifts. Now, people are lovely when they give you gifts, of course, and everyone tries to give gifts to friends and family, which, you hope that the recipient will love and use, preferably daily. But it can happen that you're given something and you say, oh, that's lovely, because you're being polite and you don't want to upset the giver of the gift, and then you think, when on earth am I going to wear that? What was she thinking? Seriously? So I would suggest that you have a nice little charity shop pile, because otherwise these poor unwanted gifts are going to join all the other things in your wardrobe that you have to wade through before you can actually find something to wear. So my number 7 is something that we can do something about, kind of almost instantly, which is things that need to be repaired. So the short answer here is either repair them or trash them. And they may not be good enough for the charity shop either, because, if you don't want to wear, let's say, a blouse with all the buttons hanging off, then neither will anyone else. I do think it depends, obviously, on what kind of item it is, how often you wear it, and if you enjoy wearing it. It could be just a seam that's fallen on a skirt that you love, that you wear all the time. And in this case, obviously the thing to do is to get it repaired, either ourselves or a tailor. And that's great, because that item can then be readmitted into our wardrobes with the pieces that we wear happily. So I think it's a good idea from time to time, to just have a little look at the condition of our clothes to see if anything needs repairing or just tweaking to help them look a little bit fresher. So my final point is, as I said at the beginning of this video, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, or a bit not altogether serious, let's say. And I'll explain why in a minute. So my point 8 is, do you really need 25 of one thing? Sometimes we have a tendency to just keep on buying the same kind of item. We may love wearing crisp white shirts, for example. That's just me. So every time we're looking to add something to our wardrobes, we buy another crisp white shirt, because we know we love them and we wear them a lot and we need them. That's fine, of course, but there comes a time when our wardrobes are only filled with crisp white shirts. We may need to change things up a bit, or we may risk getting into a bit of a rut. I realise that most of us do this sort of thing, even just to a little extent, so I don't want to offend anybody, but just to make us all a little bit aware that we might need to diversify. I did exactly this actually when I worked in the Middle East. The culture there was, this was Dubai and Kuwait some years ago, but it meant that you couldn't wear no sleeves or show your shoulders, of course, and it was also better not to wear anything that was very fitted. So I ended up wearing untucked, fairly roomy shirts over trousers every day. I mean, it did suit the culture and my work, as, you know, they were fairly smart as well. But one day I looked in my wardrobe and I realised that all I had were big shirts. Useful, but I looked the same every day, which I got actually quite a bit bored with, to be honest. Now, the same sort of thing may have happened to you too. I'd love it if you shared these sorts of things in the community, because it's so wonderful to hear from you ladies, see what you think too. So in this case, it's not really a case of trashing, but just maybe not buying anymore. So I really hope that you like this video, and please do subscribe to my free channel. And it'd be brilliant if you shared this with all your friends as well. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up too, so I know to create more content on what you like. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you really, really soon. Midweek videos as well. Lots of love. Bye.